Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time. Well, the return of, I should say, season 4 of Harley Quinn. I'm doing episodes 1 through 3. So they dropped episodes 1 through 3, and then they're going to do an episode a week. So I figured I'm going to put them all together here. So welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, somewhat, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right, so let's get started, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episodes. If you haven't seen them, go and watch them. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Give you enough time to hit pause, whatever you need to do, all that good stuff. Okay. So, the episode's titles, by the way. So, episode 1 was Gotham's Hottest Hotties. Episode 2 was B.I.T.C.H, or B.I.T.C.H, which actually stands for an acronym there. And episode 3 is Icons Only. These pretty much all play together, into what's going on. How we left off last season was Harley and Poison Ivy were kind of going their separate ways. Harley was becoming a hero, or an anti-hero, if you will, and Poison Ivy was leaning into the villain stuff. So that's how they've kind of started off this season. And I know I said this last season as well. Usually when they're trying to get into things, when they're trying to start up a season, the first couple episodes, it feels like, something's not firing right. This actually is different. This actually feels, the first episode was a little rough, Gotham's Hottest Hotties. But by the third episode here, we actually have some momentum going. So yeah, the Gotham's Hottest Hotties, you have Poison Ivy getting ready to become the CEO of Legion of Doom, with Lex Luthor stepping down so he can run his company. And, Harley's going off with the Bat family because, Bruce Wayne's in jail. He's in Blackgate for not paying his taxes. So Batman, of course, has stepped back at this point. And the mystery that they're trying to solve is who is basically killing people, and they're taking body parts is what's going on. And it seems like the people that are getting killed are in a magazine of Gotham's Hottest Hotties, and Nightwing happens to be number 2 with a great ass. So of course they're going to use him as bait on that one. Long story short, it ends up being Professor Pig. Professor Pig is the one who's building a perfect sex doll, I guess you could say, out of body parts. It was kind of disgusting, but also it's par for the course for Harley Quinn here. And Harley, of course, kills him. So she kills yet another villain in all of this. She kills Professor Pig. And of course, the Bat family's like, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. What the fuck are you doing? So, yeah. And in the meantime, Poison Ivy is not getting the reception that she was hoping she'd get at the Legion of Doom. And the Legion of Doom, everyone else is pretty much just shitting on her at this point, right? And that's kind of where we leave off in this first episode. The second episode, of course, B.I.T.C.H, B-I-T-C-H, which actually is an acronym for something that Alfred comes up with. The Bat family basically tells Harley that she needs to stay. She needs to actually stay with Alfred and train with Alfred at the mansion while they go off and do, investigation stuff. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. You came on at sex doll. Great, Philip. That's the perfect place to come in at. Yeah, so she's basically learning from Alfred what to do, what not to do, all this kind of stuff. And Ivy, in the meantime, ends up she accepts an invitation to an evil women in business networking thing that's going on. It's a brunch, and that one I have to admit actually got a good laugh out of me. So as they're introducing it, she's at the brunch and they're introducing some new faces in the evil businesswoman category, Live Wire. Um, I forget who else. There was another DC villain, and then they said Meg Whitman. And for those of you who don't know who Meg Whitman is, she's now the CEO of eBay. She used to be the CEO of Yahoo, ran it into the ground. She was also a former California gubernatorial candidate, where I believe her running platform was something like "fuck the poor," and yeah, it literally was "fuck the poor." If you can't afford to live in California, fuck you, good riddance. And that was what her platform was. And she is like an evil, evil, evil person. So when they said Meg Whitman, I fucking started laughing. I knew exactly who it was. And yeah, she basically fired like a good portion of Yahoo and drove Yahoo into the ground. I mean, even further than it already had been, but still. So yeah, it was a good little bit that was there. It was a deep cut at the same time, but it was one of those things that just made me laugh. And it's one of those things that Harley Quinn does. I mean, Harley Quinn does that kind of stuff well. Um, but yeah, in all of this, at the end of it, Alfred ends up robbing a bank. Harley actually stops him from robbing the bank. She arrests him and turns him into the cops. And that was his final lesson to her. And the reason why Alfred was actually trying to get arrested is because in the previous episode, which I forgot to mention, he had went to go visit Master Wayne at Blackgate, and Master Wayne has another butler in Blackgate there. So yeah, and handling all the finances, all this kind of stuff. And by the way, um, Wayne Industries right now is getting ready to be tanked at this point because that's the other thing that Poison Ivy is working on. She's working on socially conscious crimes, and one of them is to get rid of all the male trees in Gotham. So the female trees weren't used in Gotham because they spewed a lot of junk, juice and whatnot, and it was sticky on the ground. The male trees didn't, but all the pollen in the air from the male trees actually helps Wayne Industries by having them sell antihistamines. Yes, this is a really funny, deep cut. And again, it's absurd. It's just this absurdity, and that's what Harley Quinn is good for, doing these absurd crimes. And she really wants to get rid of the trees, but she needs to get the mayor's approval on this poison ivy. And so the mayor is, of course, Joker, and Joker hates both her and Harley at this point. But she woos him and gets him on board. And all he really wants, he just wants to be brought in on. He's tired of the bureaucracy kind of stuff, so he actually wants to get in on evil plots again. And so being a part of an evil plot, actually being able to forward an evil plot like this, even though it's small time, is what he wants, and he signs off on it agreeably. And of course, you know, she's going to move forward on those plans of moving the trees. In the meantime, also at the Evil Woman's business luncheon thing, she meets Talia al Ghul, who is in town because Talia is now the new CEO of Wayne Industries now that Bruce is in jail. And Ivy and her actually strike up a friendship. And once Ivy realizes that, if she tanks Wayne Industries, she's actually gonna be hurting Talia, her new friend. She's like, fuck it, I need to do it anyway. And she does it. Talia gets pissed at her, of course, but says, I admire what you did. She goes, I would have done it myself, kind of thing. Even though you bankrupted my company, which, by the way, that's what she said. She said Wayne Industries was bankrupt at this point. So I don't know where we're going to stand with that. They haven't come up with this in episode 3 as of yet. So we'll see if they're going to carry that forward at all, if we're going to have some more updates on that. Because yeah, that's the other thing too, is Talia actually went into the Bat Cave and basically told the Bat family, yeah, by the way, all the shit that you've been spending on, not happening anymore. She goes, I'm cutting back on all your spending. She goes, you have to go through me first. And of course, Dick was the one who thought he was going to be able to do that. Of course, he's not. And yes, Philip, Bruce was two-timing Alfred. So, and the kicker is Alfred gets arrested and thinks he's going to Blackgate to attend to Master Bruce. Instead, he ends up going to Arkham, because Arkham is where, unless you have a portfolio, as Mr. Zazaz has said, you don't go to Blackgate, you go to Arkham instead. So Alfred winds up in Arkham, away from Master Bruce, and that's how the episode ends on that one. Oh, and all of this too, part of the other group. So Clayface is supposedly getting ready to do a run in Las Vegas. That's where his residency is. King Shark, of course, is in his underwater kingdom, because, of course, he's married now and needs to deal with that. And his wife is pregnant and getting ready to deliver kids, so he is dealing with that. Um, so yeah, there's some stuff going on, and again, these are only half-hour episodes, and the thing is, you're getting all of this stuff within the half-hour episodes. That's the reason why I can actually cover this as a in this podcast, if you will, because there is just so much that's in there. It's kind of like the Venture Brothers in a way. The Venture Brothers had that same amount of density of story to it and commitment to it as well, and they just went with it, and that's kind of what I like about this. And by the way, I will be covering Venture Brothers, the Venture Brothers movie. I bought it. Yes, I watched it, and I will be covering that. But more on that at the end. I'll talk about what's going on. So the final episode, or not the final episode, but the third episode, Icons Only. Ivy and Harley decide they're going to go to Las Vegas. They're going to the Lexor, and it's a evil, of course, villains only kind of event that's going on. And Harley, of course, can't do anything villainous because she's being looked at by the Bat family and all this stuff, and so she's minding her own business while also trying to hang out with Ivy in this evil hotel that all kinds of, like, death fights are going on, death matches, all this stuff. She can't bet on them, of course. She can't participate in them either. And just all kinds of stuff. And we find out that Elvis is still alive, and he's eating white rhinoceros, in there. Bat Ventures. So there is some bat stuff in Venture Brothers. Philip, I'll talk about that too. And it's just basically their adventures in Las Vegas, and Harley decides to don a persona. So she ends up donning a purple wig, pink wig, purplish pink wig, and really it's not fooling anybody. Well, it fools some people, but yeah. So she can do some evil stuff, if you will, but not too evil. And in the meantime, Clayface, who is in Las Vegas, um, it's a sold out concert, a sold out event, his new performance, and Ivy and Harley are trying to get tickets to it without arousing any suspicions of Clayface at this point. And yeah, it's in the meantime, he's just fucking with Ivy all the time, talking about how she, when they bump into each other, he's just talking about how, she didn't support him and all this kind of stuff. And it finally comes to a head between Ivy and Clayface in a casino, and in the Luxor, sorry, that's what it's based on, but the Luxor. And of course, they have this long, drawn out, dragged out fight, which of course Harley needs to don her hero persona at that point to save innocent people and stop the fight from happening. And of course, we get to the crux of everything where, again, Clayface was not supported by his friends, as he said. And, in the meantime, while all this is happening, while the fight is happening, Tabitha, who is King Shark's wife, is giving birth to 9 children on stage during a magic show, which is funny in its own right. I mean, it's just really kind of funny in its own right. So Yeah, Clayface and Ivy and Harley, they patch everything up at the end of all of this. King Shark is now the father of 9 children, but he has to watch for 8 of them. Tabitha only takes the firstborn and says, I'm going home. And so she decides to go home while King Shark, I guess, is staying there. And Harley and Ivy are now godmothers to to 9 shark people, something like that. Yeah, and that's kind of where. Oh, and the final thing was the final thing I should say was that Harley tells Ivy, "Hey, I'm going to move in with the Bat family." She says, "I can't, it's hard for me to do the hero thing. If I'm going to do the hero thing, I need to immerse myself in it in order to learn what they want me to do." And so she goes, "I have to live there." And Ivy's like, all right, we can work this. We can work with this. So, and that's where we're at here. And then also the whole thing with the Legion of Doom stuff that's going on with her is she finally just ends up taking Talia's advice and just and Nora's advice too, Nora Freeze, and just becoming the CEO, basically just taking charge of stuff and telling people, this is what you're going to do, motherfuckers. You're going to do what I want you to do and nothing off on the side. And at first she was trying to be nice and that wasn't working. And now, of course, she's being, more of a hard ass and setting lines and telling them what they need to do for her events that she's set up for the Legion of Doom, her crimes, I guess you could say, and things are much better for it at this point. So, and yes, we have Bane moments in here. We have Joker, not so much. We had a little bit of Joker in there. I think Alan Tudyk's voice, something's been tweaked a little bit in his voice. At first, I didn't recognize him because, of course, he voices the Joker and Clayface, and both sounded a little bit off to me. But that's just me. So he might have maybe he had a cold or something when he was recording it. I don't know, but still good stuff. If you're not watching the series, go and watch the series, man. It's funny, it's irreverent, it's absurd at the same time. You don't need to get mad about it not following DC continuity or anything like that. It's its own little thing, it's its own little universe, and it's well worth your time. So what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about when we talk about it. Next week, I kind of have to play it by ear. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I know I'm going to be doing a Is It Worth My Time? Venture Brothers, Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon Heart. I watched that. I own it. I actually own the Blu-ray for that one, and we'll get into that. Also, I want to cover, I want to do an Is It Worth My Time for Twisted Metal season 1, which is on Peacock at the moment. That's Anthony Mackie stars in that one. And I want to cover that definitely. And of course, now that we don't have Secret Invasion to deal with, oh fuck, thank God. I'm not going to be dealing with that. But I know that on Thursday, because I believe Thursdays is when Harley Quinn drops now, I'll be doing the new episode of Harley Quinn. So that one's actually set, at least, is Thursday. Unless, work kicks my ass again and I, come in late and all that kind of shit. So then I'll just move to Friday. But with that said, I want to thank, everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages as well. Wyatt? What are you talking about, Philip? I see the what? Is it what or is it Wyatt? Excuse me. Wait. Oh, wait. Okay. Wait for it. What? Huh? Yes. Type faster. Yes, King Shark right there, by the way. So, yes, there's a little King Shark there. Yeah, I need to spruce up some more stuff back here. I just haven't gotten the chance to kind of go through that. Do I recommend that peeps watch the previous? Oh yeah, definitely, Philip. You really should watch the previous season. They all play into each other. It's not so Harley Quinn is not a, one episode done and then there's something new that happens. No, it's actually sequential. It actually moves. There's storylines to it throughout each season. So it's not episodic, I guess you could say. It's more sequential, how things flow. And it's actually a good story. It's if you're not a how can I say this? If you're not just someone who's staunch about, this is the way DC needs to be kind of thing, it needs to be like the comic, then you'll be fine. If you just realize that this is another Elseworlds, if you will, then you'll be fine with it. It's fun. It's naughty, I guess you could say, all this kind of stuff. It's absurd. And it's funny. I mean, it really is funny. And again, if you're a fan of DC Comics as well, you'll get a lot of the deep cut jokes too. And there's also social media jokes there. There's jokes about everything in this. It's kind of like the Venture Brothers in a way, where there are some deep cuts, but everything across the board is there to make a general audience happy and laugh at it. That's the whole thing. And it's not meant to be taken seriously, obviously. So, but yeah, take a look at it, read, watch the previous episodes. They're all up there right now. At least you might as well watch them before, I have a feeling this is going to be the last season of this series. Unfortunately, the way Max runs things. And usually when they end something, they just pull it completely off and you never get to see it again. Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, Philip. It's not just lighthearted, but it's also mean too. There's some mean-spirited stuff in there. It's brutal too. Yeah, there's a lot of F-bombs. There are is there nudity in that? I think it's pixelated nudity if I'm not mistaken, but there's bloodshed. I mean, a lot of bloodshed. It's fairly gory. I was surprised. It was one of the more surprising aspects. When I first heard about this series, I was like, yeah, this is gonna suck. And I watched it and I was like, okay, you proved me wrong. That's actually a really good series. So it is a different series, and it's fun. I like it. I actually look forward to it. Um, and yeah, I can recommend it quite a bit on that one. So yeah, definitely worth taking a look at if you want to have a good laugh. So yeah, and like I said, the whole Meg Whitman thing in the second episode just it caught me off guard because I was like, they have all these like supervillains sitting around. You got this like one older, heavier set white lady that's sitting in the middle of everything. And I'm like, what the? And then they introduce her as Meg Whitman, and that just made me fucking laugh. It really did. So being a Californian, we all know who Meg Whitman is. So yeah, we tried running her out of state, but she just doesn't want to leave. So anyway, with that said, thank you everyone. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up going to Vegas and getting involved in a death match, which honestly, hopefully, you're just betting on the death match and not being in the death match, unless that's what you want to get into. It's up to you. Thanks, everyone. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and have a good rest of your weekend. If I don't see you, other than that, have a good one. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.